Sandra here, Spirit Fingers. Welcome to my channel, and let's get ready to decorate some planner pages. If you haven't seen this kind of thing that I do before, I'm just decorating my weekly planner pages, or not my weekly, my calendar, you know what I mean. And I kind of slacked last month, so I really wanted to do it this month to make it up for you guys, so I hope you enjoy this. And for this page, I kind of just, like I do what I normally do, if I have an idea for a color scheme, I kind of go with that. I'm using that Marion Smith planner stamp set that I showed in one of my previous hauls. If I can find it online, I will link it for you guys, but I know some of her stuff really sells out quick. I originally got the stamp set because I loved those tiny little banner-looking letter words, so I decided to use it on this page because I've just been dying to use that stamp set. And then I'm using some of my chalk inks, and I honestly, I ended up using the chalk ink because I knew that the letter wouldn't come out, and I just wanted to use the banner. So if you want to get that letter and that stamp set to show up, I recommend using dye ink, not a chalk ink or pigment ink, because it ends up filling in those letters because the gap is too small. But for what I wanted to do, it actually worked perfectly. So I'm just stamping the banners along the edges, and you actually get two banners. A thinner, small one that's part of the alpha, and then a little plain one that's a little larger. And that worked out great for the look I was going for because I wanted to mix the thin and the larger one together to create kind of like a really fun little whimsical look. And I'm just using my pigment, not pigment, my chalk inks to do this. I'm going for kind of like a lighter pastel-y look for these pages, which is different than what I normally do, but I just thought it would be fun to do something different. And I like kind of changing it up. So if you have any themes you'd like to see me do on any of my pages for fun, let me know because I'm always up for a challenge. And I really like these inks because of the light look you get, but generally speaking, I usually like to do more like brighter colors depending on the mood that I'm in. But I'm just adding these banners along the edges, and I will later go back and add a little bit more to them. But then on this other page, I'm also doing that, but I'm creating kind of like a round shape because I want them to look like they're hanging off the page. And I'm just mix and matching them, and probably the easiest way to do this is to have both of those little banners on a separate block so you don't have to continue to interchange them if you plan on doing something like that. It tends to be a little bit easier with clear stamps. And now I'm just taking my Sharpie fine point pen and I'm adding a little string to go around that because I kind of wanted it to have a doodly look for this page and I thought it would look cool like that. And then I'm also outlining each one of those thicker banners, and I am going to go back and add a pattern to each one of those, but I wanted to allow them to dry first because they're still a little bit wet. And chalk inks, in my opinion, take longer to dry than dye inks, which is what I'm used to, so I kind of just wanted to give them time and not rush it like I generally do. Now I'm using an alpha stamp set, which is from Kelly Perky, and also if I can find this online to link for you guys, I will. I really love having a variation of alphas to use so that I can change it up and use different alphas every time. I love to just change up the alphas that I'm using. And this one is just a very simple outline alpha, but I thought it would look kind of nice and be different than what I generally use because I think this is like the first time I'm using this one, so I really wanted to break it in. I guess this is the month of breaking in new stamp sets. I thought this looked really cute too, and I'm just using my little circle acrylic block, which I really find handy because it's small. And now I'm using actually one of my newer sets as well, these little wooden stamps that came out from the Amy Tangerine line, and I really love those. They're so fun because you get the shadow as well as the outline, which even though with wooden stamps, because you can't see them as well with like you do with clear stamps, it's harder to get a perfect look. So if that's what you're into, I maybe wouldn't go for wooden stamps, but I like getting a whimsical look. Had it stamped more on the outside of it, I would have been fine with that. So that's something to keep in mind when using wooden stamps. It's not like a clear stamp. Clear stamps make it really easy. Wooden stamps are a little bit more complicated for people who want to achieve a perfection. So if you're one of those people, maybe not for you, but clear stamps are awesome and they have so many variations of stamps that you can usually find what you're looking for in clear as well. But I love having my little wood ones as well. That little post-it note is from some post-its I had in my stash that were from Heidi Swap, and I'm just adding some adhesive to that, some tape adhesive because it's only sticky on one part, and I'm kind of not using it as a post-it. I'm using it for decoration for fun. And then I also have one of those little hearts that's also a post-it, which I also added some tape to as well, just to glue it down. And then since this kind of falls into the month of July, I figured I would add the July and just add my script to it because July is my birthday month, so I wanted to make July extra special, so I just did some handwriting, which I love to do as well, and if you like doing handwriting, you could also do a lot of handwriting in your planner pages to make it, unique and all kinds of effects if maybe you don't have a certain alpha stamp or you're waiting and saving up to get one. So it's kind of fun to mix and match things. And then I'm also adding little details within the little squares, and those little banners are super tiny, so they're perfect for this. I'm using my Versamark little ink color pad, which is also a pigment ink. And the good thing about my little Versamark one is since it's kind of drying out a little bit, you get a pretty good impression with seeing the letters on those little page flags because it's not too juicy. When it's too juicy, sometimes it's hard to get a clear stamped image out. And I just basically doodled around the heart and just kind of created a really simple little look. And then I'm using those wooden stamps again from the same little set that they come in. And I just wanted to add those little kind of like chevron arrows. I don't know if that's what they're called. I think that's what they're called. To just kind of have them pointing towards July because I thought that would be fun. And then I'm going back and adding the pattern to those flags I said I wanted to do. So I'm adding some polka dots as well as some stripes. And I actually really love the way that looks. It makes them just look that much cuter to me. And I'm going to be doing that on the other side as well just to make my pages somewhat match. I usually don't do too matchy-matchy on my pages because I kind of like them to just be kind of fun and whimsical. I don't think that a planner has to be that serious, at least for me it doesn't. And then I'm going back with the outline over the pinks, and as you can see, it totally didn't stamp perfect, but I actually really like the way that looks, so it's just a matter of personal preference. And then I'm adding a little tooth stamp because I don't get to use that one very often, and since I have some dentist appointment coming up, I'm like taking advantage. I'm like, ooh, yay! I have this purple glitter tape, which is super pretty, and I really like it. I believe I got it while it was on sale from Pink Fresh Studio, but if I can find it and link it, I will. I don't know if they still sell that or not. And I just thought it would be cute to add over the holes as kind of reinforcement for the holes without adding too much. And I'm cutting it off so it ends right where the actual calendar ends on the pages because I didn't feel like I wanted it hanging off, just wanted it over that edge. And then I'm going to go ahead and punch the holes with my little crocodile, which I did off camera because you guys have seen me do that like a million times, but it's really simple to do. You just turn your pages around and see where the holes line up and then use your punch. And it's just a standard hole punch. And then I'm doing pink on the other side because, like I said, I don't want it to be too matchy-matchy, and I think it's really fun to kind of use different tapes on each side. And if you guys have watched me decorate my planner pages before, then you've probably seen me do this like a million times, but I just never get tired of it. So, looks really cute, and of course, like I said, I'm not adding too much, but just a little bit more detail. I am going to use the stamp to stamp on the bottom of my pages, but I only want to use the scallop part of the stamp, so I'm adding some post-it tape over the part that I don't want stamped in order to kind of manipulate the stamp to use it as I see fit. So as you can see, I just pull off the tape afterwards so there's no ink on the part that I don't want stamped, and then I can just get the part that I do want stamped on the paper. And this is a really great thing to do if you just kind of want to use a part of a stamp and not all of it. So that's just a little tip. I'm pretty sure it's called like masking off. That's one of the first things I learned when I started to do stamping. And I'm using that wooden stamp set again, but the heart this time. I love this stamp set. I just think it's so fun and so like doodly. And you can technically doodle this yourself if you wanted to, like I could have, but I just think it's fun to use stamps. That's why I use stamps, is because I enjoy it. And I'm not making these pages too complicated. Some of my pages are more complicated while others are more simple, but I just wanted to keep these on the simpler side. And I'm also going to be adding a weekly insert. I really wanted to make a dent in my Target dollar spot stash that I have, so I thought I would use these, I don't know if this is a post-it or what, but it's like a large post-it or notepad that I got from there, and I decided to cut it in half so that I could use it as like my little weekly insert because I don't do enough during the week in my opinion where I actually need weekly inserts. So I thought this would be a great way to create my own weekly insert without actually having weekly inserts. So I cut them in half and I glued one side on top of the other. And of course I have that white hangover as you can see because one of the pages is a little bit longer than the other since it says like weekly notes. But I thought that that gave me an opportunity to kind of decorate this and just add my own little touch. So I decided to add some washi tape to the bottom of that. And I had the perfect pink washi tape, which is from Little B that I had picked up if you saw my haul that I did, which I think is like my last video that I did. No, the video before that actually. I'll try to link it if I remember. And I'm also adding some of this foil chevron washi, which I thought would kind of go with the theme of my paper. It's like a magenta-y color, but I think magenta goes really well with purple, so I figured I'd wing it, and I had to have put something foil on this page. And I actually picked that up from Joann's from their little dollar section, so it's super cute. I also have the gold version of that, but I thought this would be a fun way to use the magenta version that I really like. And I'm just cutting off the excess. If I wasn't using the other side of it, I would probably just tuck it because that's like my natural instinct. but I just thought it looked nice like that. And I'm also going to corner around the corners just to make it look more, you know, project lifey and just to give it a more finished look, and I really like the way that looks. I recommend that corner rounder to anyone who needs one. It's just like the best corner rounder I've ever used. And then one last touch is I'm going to also stamp on this, and I'm using an LE Studio stamp set that I had in my stash as well. I don't know if this one is still sold, but if it is, I will try to link it in the description box below. As always, I usually link everything in the description box below, so if you guys want to find something specific or use something I have in my video, check out my description box and pick yourself up some goodies. And then I just punched my holes through that, and there you go. So anyway, I hope you guys are liking these planner videos. If you do, please make sure and thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel, and also if you get a chance, leave me a comment because I love to hear from you guys. And if you have any ideas for future planner videos, be sure and let me know. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!